2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hallelujah. השכינה, ברוכים הבאים, תחת כנפי השכינה. May you be blessed beneath the wings of Shekhinah. Be blessed with love, be blessed with peace. Brachot habaot tachat kanfei Shekhinah. Brochim habayim tachat kanfei Shekhinah. May you be blessed beneath the wings of Shekhinah. Be blessed with love, be blessed with peace. May you be blessed beneath the wings of Shekhinah. Be blessed with love, be blessed with peace.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We'll invite you in and ask you to please take a prayer book and find a seat as we get started this morning. We'll welcome you to Congregation Micah. Glad you're here. I feel like this group of Ensworth students lives at Congregation Micah. We're glad to have you all back. We really love having you. We know you'll be spending a good chunk of your month here. We're happy about that. For those of you who are visiting Nashville this weekend and visiting Congregation Micah, welcome. We are so excited to celebrate Lilly today as she becomes a bat mitzvah on our bima. And as I just mentioned to Lilly, this is not a performance. She's helping lead a service experience for all of us, which means we have a role. We want to support her and participate, so we hope you took a siddur, a prayer book, on your way in. You'll have an opportunity to muscle through some Hebrew this morning if you'd like to practice your Hebrew. There's transliteration for all of our prayers. And we'll also warm up with a little bit of English as well. So I'll invite you to join me in the middle of page 67. And we'll read together in the middle of that page. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. I'd like to invite Judy Babbitt forward, as well as Michael Goorevich, to present Lilly with her talit and to explain a few other things that she's got with her today. Good morning. Shabbat Shalom.
Lilly G. Pooch, weaver of webs, constructor of kingdoms, formidable female of fantasy. Number 11. Since living in Nashville, your family has spent the month of July and winter holiday week in our home in Buffalo. Just as your room has evolved from a nursery, so too have you grown. You rigged the stairs and railings with webs, crafted entire communities with boxes and blankets, and invited us into your fantasy world. But now it's wonderfully imaginative stories and poems you string together. Papa played countless games of war, which you somehow always managed to win. Wink, wink. I still kick your tush playing gin, bananagram, Scrabble, but probably won't gloat much longer as your game is improving. And yes, you destroy me in garbage. I treasure our dinners at Hayes and desserts at Alethia's. And who doesn't like strawberries and Cool Whip? and jumbo black olives worn on the tips of fingers. You, my dearest Lily, bring immeasurable pleasure with your intellect, kindness, sensitivity, and joy of living. And so as has been my tradition, it is with love and pride in all that you are that I wrap you in this talus as you have wrapped us in your world.
We want to thank Nancy, Benny, and Alex Fernandez back in Buffalo right now. They are hosting my parents for brunch and a simulcast. So I bet my father's thinking this is the best service ever. He's having a bagel right now while you all have to wait for lunch. Lily's wearing 2 pins for them. One is for my grandmother, for my mom. It's exactly the kind of thing that she'd be wearing right now if she were here with us today. The other is an aviation pin from my father, and it represents that when he was 13, he started to learn how to fly.
When he was 13?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you both.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef batzitzi. We continue on page 74 with the singing of Matovit.
Lily will continue leading us on page 76.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yatzar et ha'adam b'chokhmah, u'v'ra'avo nekavim nekavim, chalulim chalulim, galui v'yadua livnei kisei kivadecha, she'im yipateach echad mehem, o yisatem echad mehem, efshar lehitkayem, v'la'amod lefanecha, Baruch atah Adonai, rofei chol basar mafli la'asot. We continue by thanking God for our souls on page 78.
Elohai, Elohai.
Please join us as we chant starting on page 80, thanking God for the miracles of everyday life. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lesach b'beinai lechavhin bein yom uvein laila. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asirim. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokach haaretz al hamayim. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam chamachin mitzadei gaver. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam al bisharumim. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanotem le'af koach. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hama'avir sheina mehenai utnuma me'afapai. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tselem Elohim. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani bat churim. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Israel. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam moser Yisrael be'igvura. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael be'tifara. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
Amen.
We continue together on page 88. These are things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study, morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. But the study of the Torah encompasses them all. We continue singing Psalm 150 on page 100.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, Shema, Tehallel. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, Shema,
Please rise and turn to page 106. Yitgadol v'yikadash shemei Rabba. Amen. Ba'al madi v'rach yirutei liam lichmo hutei. V'chayachon uv'yomeichon uv'haid kol beit Yisrael. Ba'gala uv'izman kariv v'yimeru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam u'lam le'amaya. Yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yishomam v'yanaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalol shemei dekudisha b'richu le'elam Hilal Minchu Birchata V'Shirata Tushbechata V'Nechemata Dami Rambama V'Yimeru Amen.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed HaMevorach Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated, and we continue on page 110. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvrei choshech, osei shalom uvrei et hakol, hameir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha barachamim, uvtuvo mekadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reshit. Ma'avrabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam b'chokma asita, mal'ah ha'aretz kinyanecha, tizbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, va'al me'orei or shechasita yifru chasela, Or Chadash al Tzion Ta'ir v'niskei chulanu mehera le'oro. Baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'me'orot. Please read with me on page 113. Love your neighbor as yourself, you said, and light blinded we saw, that inner and outer worlds are one, as you are one. You spoke and we wrote. We reached for you down the centuries, your light moving before us, as we climbed, fell back, and climbed again, your Sinai of life. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher ba'amo Yisrael be'ahava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed.
So we're going to invite Macy to come join us, and we are continuing on the top of page 116.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol havavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzabecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha v'beitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'shochbecha u'kumecha u'shartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha Laman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim leloechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeitiechem me'eretz Mitzrayim Lihiot lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. We continue responsively on page 121.
Whoops.
The eternal truth is that you alone are God and there is no one else.
May the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and exult in your justice.
Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks.
Let nation not lift up sword against nation, nor learn war anymore.
You shall not hate your brother or your sister in your heart.
The stranger that sojourns with you shall be accepted as your equal, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor? Asked God.
We know that the Eternal One defends the poor and upholds the rights of the needy.
Praise to God Most High.
Blessed is God and deserving of blessing.
Mi chamocha ba'alim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nor atahilot osefele, nor atahilot osefele. Shircha rasha shebechu geulim leshimcha safar hayam. Yachad kulam hodu ve'imlachu ve'amru Adonai himloch leolam va'ed Adonai himloch leolam va'ed Sur Yisrael kume bezrat Yisrael ufidechinu mecha Yehuda ve'Yisrael Go Aleinu Adonai Tzevot Shemo Kadosh Yisrael Baruch Atah Adonai Ga Yisrael.
Please rise.
Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים. ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדשים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה על זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו
שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושת הנקדיש. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושת הנקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי אל מלך גדול, כי אל מלך גדול וקדוש אתה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושת הנקדיש. ברוך אתה
These next few moments are for our own opportunity for silent prayer, so please take as long as you need and we'll join back together in song.
שים שלום, שים שלום, טובה וברכה. שים שלום, שים שלום, טובה וברכה. שים שלום, שים שלום, טובה וברכה. שים שלום, טובה וברכה. We each hold a gift, man and woman, boy and girl.
shalom, sim shalom, tova uvracha. Sim shalom, tova uvracha. Sim shalom, tova uvracha. Sim shalom, tova uvracha. Sim shalom, tova uvracha.
Lily whispered to me about 3 minutes ago, "Oh my God, it's almost time for Torah." Lily, it's time for Torah. We're on page 244.
Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kamasecha. Malchutcha malchut kol olamim, umemshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai himloch leolam va'ed. Adonai oz lamo yitain, Adonai varech et amo v'shalom. Av harachamim etiva v'rtzonocha et Zion. Tivnei chamot Yerushalayim, Tivnei chamot Yerushalayim. Ki v'cha levad batachnu, melech elam l'nisa, Adon olamim.
We'd like to invite Richard and Simona Messina to come forward and open our ark doors. I'll invite everyone to please rise as Judy Babbitt, Kelly, Michael, Macy, and Lilly Goorevich stand at the bottom of the stairs for the passing of the Torah.
Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, Udvar Adonai Marushalayim. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Lamo Yisrael v'kidushato.
At this point in our service, we pass the Torah from one generation to the next. The Hebrew phrase for this is lador vador, but it means more than just this kind of physical passing. It's the idea that it takes an entire community of family and friends to create a human. And not just the physicalness of who that person is, but the moral character and compass of who they are. I really can still remember like it was yesterday, Lily so excited bounding into the synagogue that she was able to begin her bat mitzvah prep. I would say not every student does that, but we really appreciate the enthusiasm, I can tell you. And I don't think that enthusiasm has waned, not for a moment, between that moment, and it started before you came to me with Miss Lisa, but to this moment. And so we only really get a snapshot of part of your door of a door, of your passing of tradition. Your family has been there from the moment you arrived, shaping who you are, and then all of these fine people have contributed to that as well. And we just get to bask and celebrate in the glory of who you've become today. So we pass this Torah now from your grandmother
Shamo Yachdav.
Bring the Torah around, and you can take your prayer book, or if you're wearing a talit, and you can touch the Torah and kiss it. We also like to say Lily's a walking Torah. You can hug and kiss her.
Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Haolam Omed, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Haolam Omed. Ahatara, Via Ha'avoda, Via Gimelu Hasadim. Ahatara, Via Ha'avoda, Via Gimelu Ahatara, Via Ha'avoda, Via Gimelu Hasadim. Ahatara, Via Ha'avoda, Via Gimelu Hasadim. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Haolam Omed. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Haolam Omed. Ahatara, Via Ha'avoda, Via Gimelu Hasadim. Ahatara, Via Ha'avoda, Via Gimelu Ahatara, Via Ha'avoda, Via Gimelu Hasadim. Ahatara, Via Ha'avoda, Via Gimelu Hasadim.
All right, please be seated. I love this group. Very social. Excited to be here. Okay. So we're going to do things a little bit differently this morning at the request of the Goorevich clan. And so we're going to build a community on this bima around the Torah. It's going to get a little intimate. All right. So I'm just going to say, listen for your name and come up at the appropriate time. Lilly is reading from Exodus this morning because we are still within the holiday of Pesach, of Passover. So we are still reading that section of Torah in which the Israelites are leaving Egypt. So we've gone back a few books for today, a few hundred years, hundreds of years. All right, so we are chapter 12 of Exodus. And for our first Aliyah this morning, we are going to invite Kelly and Michael and Macy. Ya'amdu lichvod haTorah. You got your blessing here. All right, Lil.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamavarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Vayikra Moshe l'chol ziknei Israel vayomer alehem mishchu ukhu lachem tzon lamishpachotehem bishtachatu ha'pasa ulkachtem agudat ezov utvaltem badam asher basaf vigatem el chameshkov ve'el shtef hamezuzot min hadam asher basaf ve'atem lo tezu ish mi petach beito ad voker ve'avar Adonai lin gov et Mitzrayim ve'era'ah et hadam al chameshkov ve'el shtef hamezuzot upasach Adonai al hapetach ve'lo yitem hamashchit lavo el batechem lin gov. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen. For our second Aliyah this morning, we are going to invite Grandma Judy Babbitt. We'd also like to include Stuart Gelman to come forward, and via live stream, we welcome Jane and Sam Goorevich.
Okay.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten HaTorah. Ushmartem et ha'davar hazeh l'chak l'cha u'vonecha ad olam. V'haya ki tavo el ha'aretz asher yitem Adonai lachem kasher diber et ushmartem et ha'avodah hazot. V'haya ki yomru alehem b'nechem ma ha'avodah hazot lahem. Ve'amartem zevach pesach hu l'Adonai asher pesach al batei v'nei Israel v'Mitzrayim v'gno po et Mitzrayim v'iti bateinu hitzil v'yakod ha'am v'ishtachavu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
For our third Aliyah this morning, we invite aunts and uncles, Kim and Steve Unity, Brett and Jackie Babbitt, Brian and Tim Seeley, Richard and Heidi Goorevich, Sharon Babbitt, Rita Goldman, and via live stream, Aunt Julie Babbitt.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai
Adonai hamborach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher napach banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
Vayalchu v'ya'asu b'nei Yisrael kasher tzivah Adonai et Moshe ve'Aharon kanasu. Vayhi b'chatzi halayla v'Adonai hekach chol b'hor be'eretz Mitzrayim mipor paro hayoshev al kiso ad b'chor hashvi asher b'vei tabor v'chol b'chor b'heina.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Lily, you can hug this group. Big hug. And this group's going to stay and come onto this side here.
You're not allowed to move until I give you a hug.
So for our fourth Aliyah, we're going to invite cousins. I'm just going with last names here because there's a lot of you. We've got Babbitt, Greenberg, Yonati, Cohen, Goorevich, Seeley, Goldman, Klein, Wordy, Berkowitz.
That's a lot of
And on the live
cousins.
stream, we welcome the Kingsley girls.
That's a lot of cousins. I might have a really big family.
Cuddle in, friends, cuddle in. No need to stand so far away. Bring it in, bring it in. Lily wants to feel the warmth of your love.
I might have a lot of cousins.
All right, and somebody's leading this band.
How about Talia?
I was gonna say, it looks like Ariel.
All right, Ariel, lead us.
Baruch et Adonai
Baruch Adonai hamorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher b'char banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
Vayakom paro laila hu v'chol avadav v'chol mitzrayim vaytitzak hagdolah b'mitzrayim ki ein bayit asher am shamet vayikra l'Moshe ulharon laila vayomer kumtzu tu mitoch amigam atem gam b'nei Yisrael ulchu ivdu et Adonai kidebarchem. Gam sonhem, gam debarkem kechu. Kasher dibartem, alehu vrachtem gam oti.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet ve'omer olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
Okay, to make this easier, no one's allowed to move until I give you a hug.
Cousins are staying. All right, cousins, you're coming over here to this side. We'll get you later. To the right. We'll be here all day. All right, cousins are coming to the right. For our fifth Aliyah, we are going to invite all of Lily's teachers and coaches. So we'll ask the Edensworth faculty, Micah teachers, Lollipop and Neon Blast coaches, and parents.
Please come join us on the bima.
It changed to Blue Bombers last year.
Okay.
Or was it Pink Panthers? I don't remember. Lollipop Dynamite, that's what their name sounds. Wait, wasn't it the Lucky Leprechauns?
All right, coming close. I think Daniel and Kim are leaving.
My yacht is getting loose. Baruch Hu Adonai Hamorah. Baruch Adonai Hamorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamabarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. V'techezah Mitzrayim al ha'amlim her l'shalcham min ha'aretz. Ki amru kulanu meitim. Vayisa ha'am et pateko terem yechmaz. Misharotam tererot besimlotam al shechmam. Uvnei Israel asu kidvar Moshe. Vayishalu leMitzrayim kalei kesef ulchei zahavu smalot. Chata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher batan lanu Torah emet. V'chayei olam natan b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
All right, coaches and teachers are moving to the right. For the sixth Aliyah this morning, we're going to invite Lily's friends and family friends. So if you are an Ensworth classmate, or a Vegas school classmate, or part of the CrossFit national family,
Right. We may go in a circle. Oh, they're good.
Everyone's got it. Come on.
come over. Come on in.
Where's Rose?
All right, Macy, Lily, who are my Torah leaders here?
Olivia.
Olivia, where are we? Come on down, guys.
Can't really go on my show.
I mean, Macy can handle this all on her own. Macy, you're leading us.
I'll do it.
Go, girl, you got this.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach. Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Adonai Natan et chen ha'am misharutam be'enei Mitzrayim vayashilu v'yahatzlu et Mitzrayim vayisu b'nei Israel me'ramses sukota kashesh mayot elef ragli hagvarim levad mitah v'gam erev rav, Allah itam v'tzon, uv'kar miknei kaved me'od.
One more.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. All right, friends, just stay where you are. Don't move. Just stay where you are. All right. You can fill in a little bit this way if you want to.
One more. I lost my place. I hit the yod and moved.
I don't know where you just finished. But you'll feel that right there. That's where you're going to start.
Okay, so but not yet.
Oh, right.
So for
Whoops.
our seventh Aliyah, we call Lilly as a bat mitzvah to the Torah by her Hebrew name. We say, Ya'amdu Aliza Techia Lichbod HaTorah.
Oh, right. Please. Baruch hu Adonai Hamavorah.
Baruch Adonai Amarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayofu et habatzek asher hotziu memitzrayim ugot matzot ki lo hamet ki gorshu memitzrayim v'le yochlu lehitmameach v'gam sedal lo asu lahem umoshav b'nei Yisrael asher yashvu b'mitzrayim Shaloshim shana varba meot shana. Vayhi miketz shaloshim shana ve'arba meot shana. Vayhi be'etzem hayom hazeh yatsu kol tzivot Adonai me'eretz Mitzrayim. Baruch hu Adonai.
No. Baruch.
Whoops. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Woo!
Okay, we're very excited. Good job. You did a great job. You guys are cute. After a beautiful Torah reading, we turn our thoughts to those in need of healing on this Shabbat and offer a prayer of healing. We think of those who are in need of healing either of body or of soul. And as my hand moves around the room, if you'd like to share the name of someone you are thinking of, please do. And our prayer of healing is on page 253. Please share the names of those you may be thinking of.
us those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We'll invite Macy to return to the bema to introduce Lily's Haftorah reading this morning.
This Haftorah portion for this Shabbat is from Ezekiel, chapters 36 and 37. The prophet Ezekiel lived in the days before and after the destruction of the first temple and preached in the early part of the 6th century BCE. He was exiled to Babylon and experienced a period of great despair after the destruction of the temple in 587. The hope that he gives his fellow exiles is clear. In time you will be returned to Jerusalem like dry bones revived by God. The connection of the Shabbat of Pesach and the main body of the Haftorah lies in the theme of Israel's deliverance. In the Torah portion, which Lily just read from, Israel is delivered from slavery. In the Haftorah portion from Ezekiel, the Israelites are delivered from death.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar bin ve'im tovim ve'ratzav v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emes. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'v'nbi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Ko amar Adonai Adonai od zot Yidaresh levet Yisrael la'asot lahem arbe yotam katzon adam katzon kadashim katzon Yerushalayim b'moadea ken techayena heharim hecharevot meleot son adam ve'adu ki ani Adonai. Haita alei Adonai, vayotzieni v'ruach Adonai, vanicheni betoch habikach, vayhimalei atamot. V'heverani alehem saviv saviv, v'hine rabot meod al kiani habikach, v'hine yeveshot meod. Vayomer Eli ben Adam haticheina ha'atzamot ha'ele Vayomer Adonai Adonai atayadata Vayomer Eli hina ve'ha'atzam al ha'atzamot ha'ele ve'amarta a'elehem ha'atzamot hayaveshot shimlu davar Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzor kol ha'olamim tzadik b'chol hadarot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer ve'oseh ha'medaver u'mekayem shekol devarav emet v'tzedek al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nevi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnucha lechavod ultifaret al ha'kol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach u'mevarchim otach yitbarach shimcha befi kol chai tamid le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha'shabbat.
Lots of fun times, Lil. All right.
Shabbat shalom, y'all. I can't believe that today is actually here. Looking around this room, seeing my cousins, my parents, my grandparents, my friends, my teachers, and my classmates, it's all sort of overwhelming. I mean, if you're in my family, you know, on my mom's side alone, I have 10 older cousins and 1 older sister. I see and the overwhelming thing is, I watch most of you have a bar mitzvah. I see the joy on your faces, and I've wanted that same feeling for years. When I first started studying for this day, over 6 months ago, I realized that the smile was not just a feeling of the day itself, but how much work you each had accomplished. Standing up here today, it's been my dream for years. And for as long as I can remember, I've thought to myself, I'm gonna stand up on that bema and shine like the rest of my cousins. And you know what? I did not even know how amazing and how hard work this whole process would be. I feel that I've shown myself true determination, how smart I really am, how optimistic I am, and overall, I feel like I've grown tremendously as a person. But I can't give this process all the credit. Everyone in this room has played a role in making me the person I am today. My friends and classmates. I don't know if the Southeast has ever and will ever face a smarter, kinder, more athletic group of kids. I hope that you continue to be some of the best friends a kid can have, and I'm so excited to spend 8th grade together. Teachers, you will have watched me grow up in the Ainsworth halls. From day 1 of kindergarten, you have taught me how to read, tie my shoes, draw beautiful pictures, solve equations, write stories, and make friends. I couldn't have grown into the intellectual being I am today without all of you. To my cousins, I'm so happy that you all are here to watch me celebrate this very special day. I feel so honored to have all of you here watching me the way I watched all of you. You all have taught me invaluable lessons on friendship, trust, fairness, video games, cooking, and so much more. You have been there my whole life, and I hope that we can continue to be the unstoppable family that we have always been. Nana and Papa, I know that you two could not join us here today in person, but you have been 2 of the greatest influences on my life. Papa, you have inspired my love for planes and have never been shy when it comes to hugs and jokes. You always knew a good story, and I'm always anticipating the moment I walk into your apartment. Nana, you are an amazing storyteller, and I love to hear all the stories about you and Papa growing up. You're an amazing, kind-hearted, independent woman who I owe so much of myself to. Grandma, you always know me down to the dot, whether it's the last card I need in a game of gin or what I want to do on a grandma-granddaughter day. You have been one of my best friends for years, and I could never trade our time together for anything. You are so wise, so kind, so strong, and so patient. You are also a world-class gin player. You have always known how to have a good time, and you put your family first. Thank you for everything you have done for me. Papa, I wish that you could be here with me today, but I know that you will be watching over me every step of the way. You always were a practical joker who loved to spend quality family time. It didn't matter if we went to a very loud movie or a major action movie. You always fell asleep. But you were always holding my hand. As some of you have noticed, after the last prayer that we all said amen, and then my family said awoman. That's because my grandfather thought if you close a blessing with the word man, obviously you have to include a woman next. I love my Papa so much, and he will always be in my heart and mind. Mom and Dad, even when we are all busy with work, especially during this whole crazy year, you two have made time for movies, cuddles, conversations, and comedy at the dinner table. Mom, you are a beyond amazing chef. I mean, you have not lived until you have tried one of my mom's homemade burgers. Yes, I chose that one. You're an amazing woman who has done tons of work for this day and still been a world-class teacher. Thank you so much. Dad, thank you for always being such an amazing person. You take me to Martin's, you take me to the Globetrotters games, and you take me to concerts. You have been a father to me and a best friend. You make amazing architecture, and I'm so proud to call you my dad. Macy, There has never been such a sister. You always make time to talk with me, and you have helped me through the past couple years, because we all know middle school. You have tutored me in math, and even if you are very, very busy, you never let our time pass without an episode of New Girl, Harry Potter, or a rewatch of Hercules. Thank you for always being there for me. To all my aunts and uncles, thank you for giving me monster bear hugs when I enter the door and being a helping hand and someone I can always talk to. Last but not least, I want to thank Rabbi Lori, Miss Julie, and Miss Lisa all for being there my whole life. You have helped raise me at Micah, and I'm so glad to have spent my whole life so far with you three. Rabbi Lori, thank you for teaching me so much of what I have done up here today. You have had my back during this process, and I'm so happy to have had you as a teacher. Miss Julie, thank you for supporting me my whole life and for always being someone who has such a kind, warm, sensitive yet strong outlook on the world. It's rubbed off on everyone you've gotten close to, and especially me. Miss Lisa, I don't know if I have a Micah memory that doesn't involve you. You have inspired me to sing everywhere I go, and you have always been probably the kindest person I know. You have been in my life longer than I can remember, and I'm gonna miss you so much. Thank you thank you all for being part of this day, and thank you to the musicians for coming here and spending your Saturday with me. As most of you know, I love music. But you know what I love more than music? Stories. The story of the Exodus is one of my favorites, though. My Torah portion talks about the Jews finally being able to escape from the Egyptians. After the smiting of the firstborn, Pharaoh, struggling under the pressures of his grief, let the Hebrews go. The book of the Exodus reads, "So the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading bowls wrapped in their cloaks upon their shoulders. The Hebrews fled Egypt, just narrowly escaping the Pharaoh's army." The story of the Exodus brings us a very special holiday called Passover. Passover is the holiday in Judaism where we remember and tell the story of the Jews being freed from Pharaoh's rule. And as many of you know, tonight is the last night of Passover, or as some people would say, Pesach, day 8. In olden times, on Passover, families would slaughter one sheep from their flock as a sacrifice to God. The sheep sacrifice reminded us of the lamb's blood we put on our door frames to protect us from the death angel. But it's not the only kind of sacrifice. Moses was given 5 sacrifices to God that he was to practice: the olah, or burnt offering, the mincha, or meal offering, the zevach shalamim, or sacrifice of well-being, the chatat, or sin offering, and the asham, or penalty offering. But when the temple in Jerusalem burned down, lamb offerings became impossible because they had to sacrifice it on the altar. Lamb sacrifices began to wane, and when the new temple had been completed, people just didn't want to sacrifice them anymore. If you ask me, people realized that lamb was better grilled and topped with chimichurri rather than burnt with a side of prayer. Over the years, sacrifices, seen as the closest way to speak to God, changed to prayer. This gave rise to a whole new set of Jewish traditions. But what is prayer? In the words of Rabbi Morris Adler, prayer is heart, significance of living. Prayer is the search for silence amidst noise. Prayer takes us beyond. Our prayers are answered when we are challenged to be what we can be. Although prayer became the new thing, it didn't replace sacrifice. Sacrifice might not be the same, but we still have some versions of it today. Nowadays, we sacrifice time, energy, knowledge, and even our own lives. But instead of seeing sacrifice as giving up something, we need to see it as giving to something. My dad comes to Micah to volunteer at Room in the Inn. While someone might see that as him giving up his whole evening and time that he could spend working to these men, in fact, he's actually giving his time so that these men can have a good meal and someone to talk to. In the world we live in, many people, especially soldiers, sacrifice their lives for their countries and families knowing that they might die. This is far from giving up their lives. These people are giving their lives to the protection of others. And yes, we do have a modern-day version of the lamb sacrifice. We sacrifice money every day with little thought. It's as easy to spend money on gas or Chick-fil-A as it is to sacrifice a sheep. Spending money can be hard, but in the end of the day, you put it on the counter and walk away. In Hebrew, the word sacrifice is korban. Korban comes from the root kuf resh bet, which means to draw near. People used to draw near to God with meal sacrifices and leading a purely holy life. Nowadays, Orthodox lifestyles are seen as a way to draw near to God. The same goes for Reform. Many people mainly associate drawing closer to God with going to temple or church or mosque. We also draw closer to God through good deeds and charity, or in Hebrew, tzedakah. My family and I give our time and energy and care to the community projects like Souls for Souls, Room in the Inn, Ronald McDonald House, and Bookham. Me and my family value contributing to these organizations and value the lessons that they have to offer. And as a family, we strive to bring those lessons into our everyday lives. Now I want to touch on another project. As a bat mitzvah, part of confirmation is to complete a mitzvah project of my choice. I chose Love Your Neighbor Notes. Love Your Neighbor Notes is an entirely virtual organization funded through Hands On Nashville. The LYNN collects and distributes 40,000 to 50,000 care packages a year to people who cannot afford medical supplies and toiletries. I will be collecting toothbrushes, toothpaste, socks, masks, and hand sanitizers for the next couple months. I will also be collecting personalized letters, money. The personalized letters should be simple and get well soon, and the money will be put towards buying more supplies. As you leave here today, you will see a stand for donations. I hope that you would all like to help me with this cause. And thank you all for coming here today, and Shabbat Shalom!
So, Lily, you're almost done, but not quite, so you have to stay up here for another second. So, I have known you since you were a tiny toddler, before you could talk. Can you imagine that there was a time before you could talk?
Oh, actually, no.
And you would follow me around in the Children's Academy and just kind of watch the music. Just wherever I went, you would just watch the music. And it's been so much fun for me watching you grow up into this bright, accomplished young lady. And I would say, from what you did today, you could be a cantor or a rabbi or a stand-up comedian. Just kind of take your pick. So, we have some gifts for you, and the first one is a blessing in the way of a song. May your eyes shine with the light of Torah, and your face be radiant as the brightness of the sky. May your lips speak words of wisdom, and may the world you live in be the world of your dreams. May you see your world created in your lifetime. May you see your visions come to be. May your hope touch every generation to come. These are the prayers we have for you. May your eyes shine with the light of Torah, and your face be radiant as the brightness of the sky. May your lips speak words of wisdom. May the world you live in be the world of your dreams. May you be blessed with understanding, with wisdom and compassion in your heart. May your tongue be filled with song. May your lips sing out for justice. These are the prayers we have for you. May your eyes shine with the light of Torah, and your face be radiant as the brightness of the sky. May your lips speak words of wisdom.
Thank you, Ms. Lisa, and we're going to welcome Julie Greenberg, our Education Director, to the Bima.
Oh, Lily, Mazel tov. First and foremost, Mazel tov. No surprise that you and your family created such an inclusive opportunity to welcome so many people to really physically come close to Torah today. What may have been missed in that is that's a lot of Torah to invite that many people up to. So first and foremost, good job. But you should know I had no doubt ever about that piece, right? I knew. And Ms. Lisa, it's been since she was this many. We've known her since she was this many years old. So the last dozen years have been a true delight for all of us to witness because the preparation didn't start 6 months ago. It's been a lifetime of this work, and the holiest manifestation of what you have read today is not the Hebrew. It's that you internalize the teachings and then you turn around and walk in the world with them. And I also have no doubt that you will continue to do that because you are such an inspiration. And so we have some gifts for you, but I just want to make sure you appreciate what a gift you are. The world got stronger today, the Jewish world got stronger, but the larger world needs people like you. And I always feel so much better walking away from a moment where I know our future is entrusted to such capable, kind, and truly exquisite hands. So thank you. We have, as always, a couple certificates. What would a Jewish ceremony be without that? So you're going to take your show on the road in many ways, right? We here at Micah like to go to New York. We like to go to D.C. I know. We get to sort of figure out politically how we're going to manifest this text in the world too. So we like to go to DC, we like to go to Israel. So if you want to go to Israel with Nifty, which your amazing sister Macy has had such a great relationship and leadership roles in, this will help you get there through that. Or you can go with the Get Connected trip that we do here in Nashville. We also have your Bat Mitzvah certificate, which I see you have already signed very capably, both in English and Hebrew. And then inside we also have a Kiddush cup for you because I know, and you can open it later, I know that there will be countless Shabbat dinners and Passover dinners in your future. And so we just want to make sure that you stick around, okay? We have such great rabbis here, and there's one other rabbi I really love, Abraham Joshua Heschel, who talks about, as important as education is to all of us, that the last thing we really need are more textbooks. We need text people, right, to go out in the world and do this work. So thank you for being an amazing text person, Lily. So proud of you.
Okay, Lil, as you know, that everybody gets to add their name to our Torah of Bar and Bat Mitzvah names. So you get to put yours on there as well, just under Miss Hannah Worsetsky's. There you go. Worsetsky and Goorevich, you guys will fight for. We're writing slowly and carefully. Okay, and as you're finishing this, I'm going to invite your parents to come forward and remind them to use the microphone when they speak.
You've all been very gracious with your Saturday, just a bit longer.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lily, carpe diem, seize the day. Boy, how you carpe'd this diem. Hey, all you lollipops out there. What are the 3 things that Coach Biller, Coach Peter, and Coach Edwin say that are all within your control? Attitude, effort, and intensity. In this room, there are CrossFitters, teachers, adults. We're all nodding in agreement while kids are rolling their eyes, saying, oh boy, here we go again. But this is important, and coaches know it's worth repeating over and over because it applies to everyone in every arena, including young women stepping up to become a bat mitzvah. You are among the youngest grandchildren in your families, so you have watched Macy and cousin after cousin after cousin take the bima and lead their communities in song, sermon, and prayer. Today was your turn, and boy, did you get after it. Your efforts this morning are the result of nothing short of hard work, and when you look around this room, the eyes returning your gaze are filled with respect and adoration. You earned it. So what's it all about? Why did I just do this, and where will I go from here? These are big questions, and big questions spring from big moments like today. It's funny, for a kid who is always full of questions, you never questioned the process when Miss Julie gave you your dates 2 years ago. Nor did you stop to question it 6 months ago when you started studying in earnest with Miss Lisa, Rabbi Lori, and Mom. You eagerly entered the stream of this process to learn and experience something new, and you wrapped your head around the Hebrew and the study and found it all fantastic. You set weekly goals and delighted in surpassing your own expectations. You chipped away at your Torah and your Haftorah until each word and note moved into muscle memory and let the vowels and trope fade away, and now here you stand, service and sermon complete, you Lilly G are a bat mitzvah. And through this process, you just kept swimming, as you have since you were little, floating on to the next stage of your life. But sometimes floating along with the current makes it hard to see just how fast the river is really running. From the bank where we parents stand, watch, and worry, the river moves pretty fast, earnestly flowing with an uncontrolled determination somewhere out of view. A moment like this one gives us a chance to see you for the swimmer you are. It provides a brief moment in your young life for us to see how you navigate the rapids of challenge and opportunity, how you sink, how you swim, how you float, and how you fly. As your bat mitzvah provides that rare opportunity to stand in front of your whole village, from cousin Amy to cousin Caleb, from Mr. Breimer to Miss May, from Steve and Leslie to Richard and Simona, speak some Hebrew, teach us a little Torah, and say with a strong, clear voice, "This is who I am, see me for me." This morning, Lily, you made us see your magic. We think that's one of the big whys of a bat mitzvah, to show yourself that you are capable of difficult things. And where do you go from here? To answer that, you need to hold up a mirror to see who you have become in your 13 years. Let us hold that mirror up to your reflection for a moment and share just 3 strands of Lily twined together as braids of a Havdalah candle. They are imagination, empathy, and optimism.
Imagination, Lily. You are one of the great characters in literature. A seeker of knowledge, you are entranced by the magic of science and art and architecture and Archie comics and Latin, which ignite your mind and draw you deeply into a world of discovery. Your curiosity is insatiable because you understand that there are things in the universe far greater than yourself, and you embrace that which cannot be explained with reverence and a sense of awe. Since you were little, Lily, you have searched for dragons. For as long as we can remember, they've hung over your bed, swirling around the ceiling as you lay dreaming below. You were the mother of dragons before Khaleesi, imploring us to travel to the Yukon in search of the North American Unsihigila, a horned serpent of Lakota mythology. Dragons soar above the everyday and take you to a place beyond our shared experience where you believe true and virtuous things live. And in truth, Lily, we think you found your dragons long ago. They're everywhere. They're in your Torah portion and in your schoolwork. You find them in the dissection table and in art class. They are at the top of every rope climb, and they are at the bottom of every glass of chocolate milk. You, Lily G, are a magic seeker, and you find magic in everything, everywhere, every day. Empathy. Your bat mitzvah is about accepting responsibility for becoming a leader in your community, not just on the bima today, but on all your stages, and with an empathetic heart. How many times do you come to someone's rescue, whether it's to deflect our attention away from your sister or to help anyone with anything? You are true and good and silly and loving and generous and very forgiving. You are the embodiment of kindness, and you have never met a stranger, only a friend yet to be made. This might give the impression of a soft exterior, but that's where many misjudge you. You are often seen as malleable and agreeable, yet your compass, Lily, is set to true north, and you unapologetically know where you are going. We can't help but think that one reason you never found your dragon is because it never occurred to you, Lily, that you are the dragon of your dreams, mysterious and misunderstood, with a huge empathetic heart big enough for us all. And optimism is your superpower. You see the world as that which can be a joyous place, and you accept your responsibility for making it so. Our sense is that you just don't see the negative side of things. Everything for you follows a curve that brings you back to the positive and potential in everything. Everyone who takes time to see you knows this. The lollipops know that your strength is in the way you support your teammates, and those who have watched you play cheer for your heart as much as for your occasional basket. Your coaches know that while you might run in every direction at the same time, you run for the fun and joy of trying. You demonstrate the courage to compete even when you finish last, and you have the courage to encourage the starting lineup even when you sit on the bench. And mostly, you demonstrate the courage to be inclusive and kind, even when friends are, as you say, just being middle schooly. Your optimism radiates and is the gift you share unconditionally with those who take time to notice you.
These 3 strands of Lilly are your pulse. It took 13 years for them to develop. Now that we see them for who you are this morning, this mirror gives you the opportunity to see yourself. Your reflection is one that you can turn to for the rest of your life, and that is how it becomes one of the great gifts of a bat mitzvah. Remember it, turn to it, and invoke it when you are scared, lonely, lacking confidence, or when things seem too difficult or even too serious. From this moment on, with attitude, effort, and intensity, you now have the permission to look into the mirror and say to yourself with confidence, I can do anything.
So to all of your coaches and teachers and mentors, we will forever be grateful. Someday, Lilly, we hope you get to feel the overwhelming sense of pride we feel as parents when people show an interest in your child. We hope that one day you will be able to appreciate the commitment to your development and the love that is present in this room. Look around, from Toronto to Tahoe. We have held everyone who has shaped your path in the highest esteem, and this, Lilly, is our opportunity to honor and say thank you to each of them. So now you know what we know, Lilly. You are the dragon that you've been looking for. Fly high, soar, and light this world on fire, in a good way.
No promises.
Thank you.
I'll invite everyone to please rise as the Lapiduses, Friedmans, Frosians, Middlebergs, Schwartzes, and Billers come to open our ark doors. Lilly, before we move to put our Torah away today, Lisa and I want to offer you this special blessing. It's one you've probably heard before because we offer it at moments when we are just so inspired by the grace of someone that we are sending out into the world, and we want them to go out with these words.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you always.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's blessing and countenance shine upon you and through you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
And Lilly, may you every day, and all of us who have the blessing to know you, may you always know wholeness and peace, a sense of shalom, greatest gift that God can give us. And together we say, Amen. And at this time, we'd also like to invite Steve and Leslie Lapidus forward as our Torah is lifted and we get ready to place it back in the ark.
V'zor Torah asher sam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael api Adonai v'yad Moshe Etz chaim hi lama chazikim ba v'tomcheha me'ud
מאושר, דרכיה דרכי נועם, וכל נתיבותיה שלום. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה, חדש חדש עמנו, חדש עמנו כקדם. חדש חדש עמנו, חדש עמנו כקדם.
Page 282 for Elenu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Remain standing as we honor those who are no longer with us, with the words of Mourner's Kaddish will be on page 294. We think specifically today of Jenny and William Block, Augusta and Joseph Babbitt.
Gerald Berkowitz, Barry Babbitt, Sherwin Goldman, Marlene Cohen, Lillian and Henry Goorevich, Gertrude and William Altman, and Michael Babbitt. If I have not mentioned the name of a loved one you'd like to include, please say their name at this time. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach yirtei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei almaya, Yit barach v'yishtabach, v'yit pa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, Shemei d'kudashah barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiram be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may the memories of our loved ones be for us every day a blessing. Amen. We're going to invite Mom, Dad, and Macy forward one more time to make Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem